Truth be told, Charlene, they say let the young man go out and hunt. If he kills an elephant, his poverty ends. And if the elephant kills him, his poverty ends.
It ends in a way, right? And truth be told, Mali, today in studio with us, we have a very young man, a young man who's been in the insurance business for the past 28 or so years. And by virtue that he's in studio with us today, I think the hunt he's been doing in the insurance
He
field.
clearly killed the elephant.
Yes, he's been killing that metaphorical elephant that would probably be in the form of financial ruin of businesses and families who otherwise wouldn't have insurance. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming a giant in the financial industry, the CEO and founder of Dawit Insurance Agency, the amazing Ken Kairu. Ken, karibu sana to the TBT Podcast.
Karibu. This is the confetti.
Please meet our audience and introduce yourself.
I'm glad to be here, Charlene and Mali.
Karibu.
Yes, as you've heard, my name is Ken Kairu, and I run the business that is Dawit Insurance. Dawit is an expression, I believe, of who I am. At the core of me, I do believe that it is my purpose in life to positively impact lives. Now, that manifests in many ways, and I think one of those manifestations is the business that is Dawit. I am glad to be here. We've run the business with Salam, my wife and partner, for quite a number of years. We delight in helping particularly business owners to take care of their assets. We say we insure dreams. One of the things that we hope to do is to make sure that this thing that you have worked for many years, a mistake, a freak occurrence, whether it's illness, that doesn't destroy the dream that you had. Our journey then means that we push these things out by loving people. That's what it's all about. You will not be able to positively impact lives if you're not willing to go the extra mile and share love.
Wow. What an introduction, Mali. Yes.
Can you imagine love is a business word?
Yes.
As you would hear if you call Ken. Hello, dear friend.
Hello, dear friend.
Welcome to today's episode. Welcome to the TBT Podcast. My name is Malim Toto Mwanza.
And I'm Charlene Kimara. You may call me Mama Bima Kenya.
Good. Right. We start with career.
Yes, I'm keen to hear the story. And Ken, really, I think this episode particularly, even as we focus on educating Kenyans at large, younger, insurance agents within the business I've had a few people request that we have you on the podcast. So today, just know there's an audience of people who really, we see you up there. We admire what you're doing. So I think it's only right that we start with what really got you, did you wake up one day and decide, you know what? I want to do insurance. How did you get started?
How did we get started? Okay. It's an interesting story. Many times we do not acknowledge the little things that contribute to the person that you are. Yeah. So when I finished school, my mom had actually an insurance policy that she had taken out with TSC. She was a teacher, and the policy had just matured. Yes. And for some reason, she sent me to Britam, British American. That's what used to be called those days before it shortened the name. And I went and to pick the maturity check. Those days, life was very interesting.
You were trusted.
Look, I've been trusted from the beginning. I've been trustworthy.
Nice.
So anyway, I go and I come back with the check, and my mother turns it around. Actually, those days it was possible to endorse a check. Wow. Like the check comes, you write the other person's name, and they go and they cash it.
Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness.
Does that still happen?
Does that hint age?
You can sign again. Oh, no.
No, to endorse
endorse the check. Yeah.
To change the recipient.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So that's what happened. And I got some money. And then that got me thinking, So that was not the only thing that happened. Later on, and then at this time now, I have already finished school. But those days you used to wait some time before you go to uni, almost, yeah? And I didn't want to lose out on that time. So with my MOOCs, the only people who could take me was College of Insurance. So I went to College of Insurance. I was very clear in my head that I didn't want to sit at home. I was very clear about that. I didn't want to sit at home. I wanted to do something. So that's how it started. So we finished College of Insurance, and then what happened? I'm looking for a job at the time. My dad was working at Alicom, and somehow, you know, I found my way in there. And that started the journey. So I began to see what insurance looks like. And I began to see it changing lives. But then something very interesting happened in that journey. So by this time, I've gone on with life. I've gone to uni, and my father has given me his car to move around with, to school, back, work, that kind of thing. And I need to withdraw money from the bank. And you start feeling the heebie-jeebies. You don't know exactly, you know, that discomfort of I was going to be robbed of that money. So I go into the bank and I do the withdrawal. I put the money in the socks. I don't know whether guys can relate. Everyone can relate to putting money in the socks. The safest place, you know. And I walk out. Only to find my dad's station wagon has been broken into. And I look inside, my laptop is also missing. Now, that was a very stressful moment for me because in our days, the backups used to be in floppy disks. So you have multiple floppy disks. Now, if you have a laptop, you do not need to have your things in your... That was very painful because my paper, you know, the original V1, version 1, with all your effort and all your... You can never write a paper twice and it comes out the same way.
Kampo, you're a senior now?
Yes, I'm a senior now. My laptop is gone. You know, like most organizations, you're given an opportunity to try and sell. So who are you selling to? You know, you call your relatives, you know, your you know, at least kapolisi kamoja, you know. So my dad had gotten my dad to do a home insurance. So it's obvious. Yeah, I'm very confident. My struggle is to redo the paper.
Okay.
So I filled out the claim form. And I'm certain that the process will go through. Yeah. Where? They didn't pay my claim. And you know what?
Yes.
The guy who's writing to you to tell you that he's not paying your claim.
Yes.
Ni mtu mnajuana, mnaendanga lunch na yeye saa zingine. Oh my goodness, that was very painful.
Yeah.
Reasons?
Locked boot closed. There was a...
Oh, you had it
They
locked
pay
your
my
boot.
station wagon. Where is the boot? Those were days when you couldn't tint your vehicle. It was illegal.
So it can be seen.
Where's the boot? In fact, I actually took him outside.
Yes.
And showed him the car.
And showed him the car.
Yeah.
At the end of that conversation, there was because now I counted, and they came back and they say I was negligent. Do you know how betrayed I felt? That night I went home, I couldn't sleep. I just couldn't sleep. I wake up in the morning, I write a resignation letter. I'm not even telling who I'm not telling the people who are important in my life.
Yes. But you're done.
And I went to the HR and I showed the HR, I asked the HR, Ebu, please explain to me. All of us in this building, the lot of us, when we wake up, this here is what we wake up to do. This is what we wake up to do to people. I resigned. I didn't even know where I was going.
So that was where Dawit was backed from that betrayal?
That was not how Dawit was birthed. Okay. It was a big part. It still remains a big part.
Yes.
Because even today, if I cannot see how your claim will be paid, I am not going to allow you to spend money on insurance. Simple. The claim requirements from the insurance company also need to be reasonable. See what I mean? They need to be reasonable. Anyway, so fast track a little bit. So there were already customers who I was serving, and now I was, by this time I'm doing my master's. It's in HR, and I moved on to work with a company called Oxfam. I really enjoyed it, but then I was young. I was very young. Okay, but when I was in that company, something very interesting happened. Then there was one of the senior people who got ill. They were in DRC Congo. And they got malaria. Unajua malaria inawanga wazungu. So it was a serious matter. And on that day, I was the only one from the HR in the office. I was the only one.
Yes.
So with my insurance knowledge and insurance connections, I organized an evacuation from DRC. They're being waited for here airside. Yes. Immigration people, she was received like unashuka kwa ndege, unaingizwa ambulance. Nairobi hospital, they're waiting for you. It was just that VIP kind of thing. So when the lady finished and she was treated, she shows up unannounced to the office and comes and sits on my desk to say thank you. Ameleta maua,
Umeletewa maua.
Ameleta maua na ameleta chocolate.
Yes.
Let's just say my life was never the same after that.
You are like, if I can be doing this for clients, flowers and chocolates.
It was never the same after that. Anyway, I didn't stay too long. Yeah. But meanwhile, even as I am doing this, there are people who I used to serve and there are connections that I have. Yeah. So when I left, I also had a stint with a brokerage firm, then at the insurance company. In fact, it was very interesting. When I got the job at this NGO, I saw a job ad in the newspaper. We were in Sarit Center at the post office. Those days you put coins in the thingy. Yeah. So I saw the ad and I looked and I said, by the way, I can work in this company because I have a paper to write. Yeah. And so this is the company I can go to. But then they want this person to start working in 3 months. No. So I called the HR. Listen, I've seen that job ad. I can actually do that job. And by the way, you're saying this person is to start in 3 months. Was that job occupied before? Yes. So as we speak right now, work is piling. Yes. Okay. That work should not pile. So me, I'm coming. So the woman thought, audacity, who is this fellow? Yes. She called me to the office. Yes. So me, I'm doing this so that I can fulfill my coursework requirements. So I'm showing up and I'm telling them, Mr. Kulipwa, I'll do it free. They said, no. In our company, we don't do that. Here, no. Yes. We have to pay you.
And then you come in and you shine immediately.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So, and then I was mtu wa watu, Yeah. So you're doing HR and you're the person who people want to talk to. Because the other ones are, I'm roaming around. Even today I keep saying, don't occupy me for more than 30 minutes. But that was brilliant. Yeah. So I enjoyed that. And then while I was doing this, I have an opportunity to do an insurance sale transaction with a customer where the commission is 7 million shillings. This is 2004-5 there.
This is 20 years ago.
Yeah, 2004-2005.
So is that the commission or is that...
Commission! So what am I doing here in this employment business?
Yes.
So, I also have customers who are saying, by the way, you should be the one taking care of us. Yeah?
The ones you left.
The ones I left.
Yes.
The ones saying, you should be the one taking care of us. By the way, there are some things that happened so that other things happen. So the 7 million never came through. I think it only served to push me out.
But that should also be a fear. Like it didn't come through. Wow, will it come through for me?
No, but he was already out, I think, by the time.
As you said in the beginning, you know that young man who has gone to hunt. That's two outcomes. So that was my outcome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had an opportunity very early in my life to taste insurance money. Very, very early. So you remember now, my mom gave me a check. Then, in those early years, I think it was 1998, thereabout, there was this big haste for Standard Chartered. I don't know whether anybody remembers that. They were robbed, I think, they were robbed some many millions. So I'm walking like so in Tao. Then I meet my friend, who we were in high school, and he tells me, I'm going to see my uncle. Up hivyo karibu na Bomb Blast, Cop Bank used to be there. So we go in. And me, I didn't even know who he is. Apparently, he was a senior guy, deputy chairman. He said, Kijana, what do you do? And I tell him, I do insurance. I mean, I work for an insurance company. Yes. And then, even that Standard Chartered theft that happened. Yes. Yeah. It was my company that had done that insurance, and they're going to be paid.
Yes.
Oh. So the guy wonders, what was that policy?
Yes.
Then he calls the insurance guy he calls him, tells him, come. This young man, you remember that theft? Yeah, those guys were paid actually. If that happens to our company, what will happen? You go talk with him.
Wow.
Do I know anything? No. Just mouthpiece up. So I go back to the office and call the senior guys who do this financial solutions. We closed the deal. At that time, And this was 1998.
Yes.
We closed the deal. The deal was around 11 million in premium.
Yes.
Equals approximately $1 million in commission. That money almost killed me.
I know.
It is my mother's prayers. It is my mother's love. It is any. I should have. If I was going to die, that was the time I was to die.
Because $1 million bob even now.
Young, hot kijana.
$1 million.
And then you know what it does? It wrecks you. Honestly, it wrecks you because you wonder, even though person atangenezangu. Like
Just like that.
Anyway, that was part of the journey. But then after that, now it was mtere muko. If I was to die, that oh my goodness, where mtere muko. Nonetheless, in fact, I keep saying that if Salam knew me then,
Yes.
for real,
Nothing.
Attack.
Yes. You've had a very decorated career, really, Ken. When we get into the business, even as you're talking to peers, you stand out and people always pinpoint, that's Ken Kairu, Dawit, giant in the business. But tell us, as you got now, as you moved from employment, there was that disappointment with the first employer and the insurance policy that didn't pay. Then you went into formal employment, but then the industry was still calling.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you say now when you started Dawit? Okay, now your insurance agency. What would you say were those initial maybe challenges, and how did you even stick through? Because I think that's the other thing. A lot of us who get into the business insurance industry, we either give up too fast. What are some of those challenges you faced now going all out, branching out as an insurance entrepreneur?
Okay, so several things. Number one, I think the initial reason why you're doing things is very, very important. If you can attach a powerful why am I doing this? And it was very clear for me, the words I spoke to the lady when I walked away and I told her, is this what we do? I still remember those words, and sometimes I feel like I shake like this when I remember because it was a little bit of rage too. And I said, I will never let this happen to anybody I know. I walked out of that place ready to give insurance services for free, advisory for free. Ndio mtu asisikie vile nilisikia. So if that was a completely non-financial reason for me to get engaged in the business. And to be honest, that has driven me quite a bit, and as I said earlier on, I said it is my purpose to positively impact lives. And insurance is one powerful way to do so, especially when you're able to protect people's legacy. We don't recognize how much we have accumulated over time, or even the effort that it took for you to get where you are. You see? So for me, that becomes a driving force for me. So if you ask me, I'm a 20-year overnight success. And by the way, I would like to qualify the whole idea called success and money. I would hate for people to jump into this chasing success. If you ask me, those things that call success and money, that's a byproduct.
Yeah.
It is evidence of what you have been doing. Yeah. So I think it's important to qualify that.
Yes. Wow.
Okay.
So, and in that career, what are some of those milestones? Because I want to imagine there's year one that sometimes feels so hard. I mean, Ken, you started out with businesses that are paying you like $1 million, bob. Like what? In one commission check? That doesn't happen for everyone.
Yeah.
Of course, we do have outliers in the business. But then when now you go into the business by yourself, there's year one, then probably there's the first 5 years, the next batch of 5, getting you to 10. What were those milestones, or maybe what were those success markers for you that you would hit and you would feel, it could either be what motivates you to keep going, but what are those milestones that you would hit that really made you feel that, sitawahi toka hapa nirudi the NGO world?
I had an instance where you have a corporate medical cover. Okay. And the client writes to us and says, add these people. That happens to us in the industry all the time. I mean, you're being advised of people coming, people going, etc.
Yes.
And in this instant, I am told, add this child who's been born to family X. And for some reason, I didn't see the email. I never added the child. Then The child is acutely ill. And they are calling us and alerting us.
As HR.
No. This is me as an insurance agent.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And he has a medical scheme.
Okay.
And I have a medical scheme.
Yes.
Right? You're talking about defining moments. So this is one of them, defining moments. And then Salam is sitting here next to me, and I tell her this is a circumstance. I realize what we have done. And this child needs to go to HDU immediately. They're in Eldoret Referral Hospital. Some things you know, some things you don't know. So they're in Eldoret Referral Hospital. And the insurer writes back to you and tells you, oh, by the way, this bill is likely to be a very high bill. Yeah. To me, I go. And then we're preparing for discharge. They tell me, oh, by the way, we can't see this child anywhere in our records. My goodness, I can see you excited. So we look at one another, and I say, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we also have a little child at this time. And I said, if this was happening, what would we want as parents in our instant with our child? I told her, listen, this is what we're going to do. Whatever it takes, this child will get treatment.
Yes.
We dropped the ball. And I went to the insurance company and wrote them and told them, treat this child as though they have insurance. We will pay.
Wow.
And not only did I say we will pay, we went to the bank, drew a banker's check of 300,000 and walked with it to the insurance company and gave them. I tell them, if you need more,
yes,
tell us. Because it was very evident where that bill was going.
Yes.
And if, they warn you, they send those two messages.
Yes. It's Male who's usually doing the warning.
Male, you're panicking. You can see the stress. She's telling them this child should be treated as though they have insurance. Yeah. As guys, we know. The client, let's first resolve that matter. The child, anyway. So that happens. And then now they're being discharged. God works in many ways. Sometimes you're tested. And the reason why you're being tested is to see the mettle of your character. So at that instant, I don't know whether you guys remember, there was a lady who was a health minister many years ago called Beth Mugo. Why?
Yes.
And during that time is when they passed this thing that pregnant women and children under 5 get treatment in government hospitals free of charge. In the panic of this child needs treatment right now, there were no private rooms available. So even the HDU the child is being sent to is on the public wing. The CEO of that insurance company and their CFO, they just had to see, who is this fellow?
Who is this agent?
Who are these people? Yeah. I mean, you have many options. Listen, you have many options. Why would you own up?
Yeah.
You can go backdate the email and say, or send it to somebody who left the company, or
just start complaining.
You can find a way. Yeah. And you see, that gave us an amazing level of credibility with our players, with the insurance industry. By the way, having heard how long I've been in the industry, it's the same people moving from company A, B, C, D, and they quickly tell, who is this guy?
Yeah.
What is he made of? Yeah. I have had insurance claims paid, not because of the fullness of documentation, and sometimes even the fact that, when they're having those questions, they're wondering, do we need, sometimes we want to investigate, and they say, wait a minute, this came from Ken's office. If there was an issue, Ken will tell us. Yeah? Because I play on both sides. It is fair. I want to do business, and it's important to me that we play fair. Dear insurance company, this is a claim that is payable.
Yes.
Please pay. And pay now.
Yes.
Don't give me long-winded stories.
Yes. And
please don't make it difficult.
Yeah.
Because when we were receiving premiums, it was easy.
Very joyful.
It was joyful. So don't disturb my customer. If you're happy to receive that premium. And even when we think about some of these things, insurance companies, as they are here, and they want to pay fair claims.
Yes.
But sometimes what we have observed is not all claims are, first of all, not all losses are claimable.
Yes.
You may encounter a financial loss. Maybe you give away stock.
Yes.
You weren't robbed. You are just not wise and didn't follow procedure. Stock is gone. You've gone through a loss.
Yes.
That's different from theft, which we can file as an insurance claim. So we always want to know what it is. Yeah? Secondly, when we want to put in claims, let's make sure that the things that we're asking the customer to do are things that are doable for them, that it is practical, it is within reason, because that's how you build trust, isn't it? And then when you're going to play fair. Even you, dear customer, don't tell me you had a loss of $1 million, but then you want to make it a little bit larger so that it's 1.2, 1.3, so that you can immediately go to the market and let's all play fair. So I consider myself like a priest. You see, it's a very noble profession, this one. There is this girl here, also known as dear customer, and there is this gentleman here, known as the insurance company. And me as the priest, I make this relationship work. What is it that you want? Can you deliver? Okay, sign here. So when there is a claim, me and the Dawit team also want to play that role. You promised.
Deliver.
Very simple. And by the way, that has been the entire story of Dawit.
I hear two things, and we've talked about this in this podcast from the word go. We started with insurance niwezi to having clients on set as well. So, and I see a dichotomous relationship. I don't know if it's that dichotomous or symbiotic, where the trust is on both sides. Because I think for a very long time, we wanted to look at the insurance business and do we trust them? Are they trustworthy and all that? But there's also the other side. It's a two-way thing. So there's also a client being trustworthy and being able to give the right information when indeed you've talked about locked boot clause. So indeed,
the mischievous things in the policy, remove them.
Indeed, you are robbed, and there is clear evidence of that. So what would you say in your experience thus far? Have we gotten to that level where the trust on both ends are balancing, or is it still weighing heavily on the insurer?
I would say, again, there is a lot to do with the intermediary, believe it or not. Because you attract your kind. Okay? You attract your kind. So if you want to play fair, imagine the customers you will have also want to play fair. The intermediaries you will work, the insurance companies you will work with also want to play fair.
Okay.
So you attract your kind. In this case, help the insured, the customer, to appreciate what it takes for a claim to be paid, the documentation. And those are some of the things that we do at Dawit to help a customer understand this is what will be expected of me. And then be careful also to hold the insurance company to their SLA. They will tell you this is how long it takes to process this kind of a claim. So let them tell you why they're not meeting those terms they've set for themselves. So if we go to a place where we're doing self-regulation, oh my goodness, it really helps. So I wouldn't. It would not be fair to blame the customer. It would not be fair to blame the insurance company. It depends on how you approach that conversation, and that's why I say insurance intermediaries have a very big assignment, and our assignment is to make things work. And to appreciate the interests of all the stakeholders. I've coined this phrase in my business where we say, we capture the insured's expectations, in the underwriter's reality called a policy document. So often our conversation is, dear customer, what is it that you want insurance to do? An actual wish list. Because only then are you able to craft a solution
for them
that works.
Wow.
That's my approach.
And I think that is honestly an assignment that you've aced very well at Dawit Insurance. And you've seen the industry really change. We're at a point where, just the new trend now is, going digital, social media. What do you think is now the place of digitizing our business, having insurance agents take up, hopefully their rightful roles within the social media spaces. Yes, for the younger agents who are watching.
Oh yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's important we remain relevant.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's key that the business, as it were, learns to go where the customer is. There is no point selling umbrellas.
In Wajir.
Maybe they want to cover themselves from the sun.
Oh.
But the point is, where is your customer?
Yeah.
How do they want you to engage with them? Be there in that form. That doesn't reduce the value that you're bringing to them. Yeah. So if the customers are in the digital space, be there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think really that is the point.
Yes.
To be able to make insurance accessible.
Yes.
In fact, we can go further and say not only is our effort in the digital space to make it accessible, we should also make it easy. Okay. And then we should also think about the price point. Yeah. Okay. And then the digital space allows us to be able to interact at whatever time.
Yes.
We should not be waiting for a person to be able to purchase insurance. Yeah?
At 8:30 in the morning.
I mean, we're not banks, and no pun intended. Yeah, even banks have realized. This thing of banking hours where I have to leave the office to go bank.
Yes.
They've learned. There's now online banking, do whenever, wherever. In fact, there's one that says, what do they say? You don't never need to visit a bank. They're called, and bank yourself, But those things, that's where we should go.
Yes.
Yeah, and sustainably so.
Okay.
Make it easy, accessible, and
At a fair price point.
affordable.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the goal. Let me take a different tangent a bit. You've talked about how you approach a client. How do you identify a client's needs? Because part of an insurance, because you've said you want a client to put down a list of what they want.
Their wish list.
Yeah. We are operating with a population that does not know insurance. There are those who know, there are those who do not know. So here you are, an insurance agent. I'm aware Ken is an insurance agent. He'll sort me out on my insurance needs. But really, what is it that I desire? And I know, in several episodes, we've talked about the different types of insurance and all. But it can be very overwhelming. You get a whole list of things that are required. So how do you identify a client's needs? Because part of it is make it easy for this client. How do you do that as an agent?
First of all, I think we need to recognize the assignment that we have. Insurance is really a relationship discussion because you're helping somebody achieve a certain goal.
Yes.
The fact that you're needing to interact one with another, that is what you carry through, and it should remain consistent throughout the various, somebody is needing, the way that even both call it a funnel, through that journey. So build a relationship with this person, get to know them, get to know their interests, and they will tell you.
So don't just go bang into insurance. I am Ken, I sell insurance.
Yeah.
Okay, so we start with a relationship.
And that's how it falls flat on its face, because at that level, you're bothering me. Imagine I was doing something else before you came.
Okay, sorry to interrupt, because that's the perception. You see, that's the perception that people have of insurance agents. The moment I see a call, I'm like, this is insurance. I'm like,
Yes.
And because we've not bothered to form a relationship.
And this is what I say, and it guides my conversations even with customers. At the end of the day, and this is a dare to the entire insurance industry. When you interact with a customer, we are hoping in the area called relationship building to build affinity. At the end of that interaction, is it a phone call? Is it an email? Have a meter? Positive, negative. Does this person feel better that they interacted with me, or they feel worse that they interacted with me? Because we don't recognize the impact of feelings in buying decision.
The emotion behind
If
it.
a person feels I can trust you, if a person feels confident, if a person feels you've got my back, it's very easy for them to say, okay, then where do I sign? But if a person feels this guy, so there's a trust thing.
Kuna kakitu hapa.
Too good to be true. Help them go beyond that. So I ask my entire people, all of us, various stakeholders, at the end of the day, the person who we call our customer, after we've had an interaction with them, phone call, email, whatever that is, how are they left feeling?
Okay.
Because believe it or not, particularly with insurance, tell me another story. A lot of it is feeling driven. Eh?
Yes.
We used to call it emotion. Yeah. And another episode I had you talk about, is it fear or love? Love. Is it fear or love?
Yeah.
It's an emotion.
Yeah, it's a reaction, yeah.
I hope I have answered.
Yeah, so it makes sense, because once you get into knowing the person, then you get to know what needs they have. Okay.
It starts from there.
So how then do you separate? And we had Ashalin was asking, she'd be interested to know this. How do you position your professional and your personal life? Because they're going to intertwine at some point.
Yeah.
Noting that you're starting with a relationship, whether it's you're selling to your friends, you're selling to a kin, and etc. How do you mesh these two?
Oh, it's a no-brainer. Oh yeah. I'll give you my approach. Whatever we do is a manifestation of who you are. Yeah. So for example, even with the teams that I have, I tell them, bring all of you, the whole of you, with your kinks, with your likes, with your dislikes, that whole thing, bring it.
Yeah. Yes.
Those are people who will identify with it. Okay. So for example, and it becomes very easy. Some of these things that we have called, for example, our interests. You'll find a person who loves to cook. Personally, I have a committed relationship with coffee. With coffee, tunapendana yani, we get one another. Yes. Okay? Ask me how many of my customers love coffee. Too many. Because that becomes a conversation point. Yeah. Okay? I love cycling. Okay? Well, everybody's saying, hey, utabondwa. Hey, yawezekana, lakini. And you see, some of us are afraid to do the things we enjoy to do, yet that's where you live. That's where your joy comes from. That's where inspiration comes from. Whatever you have gone through in your past, there are commonalities. There are people who we do business with, I kid you not, simply because we went to the same school.
Yeah.
Bring that.
Yeah.
Bring that to the table.
Yes.
Yeah? Sometimes you will find that you have goals and aspirations that are similar. You have this thing that you want to do. Even me, I want to do it. For example, I want to take a holiday to XYZ place. Yeah. I wanted to go to Hawaii. It happened 20-something years later. But anyway, I got the good fortune of having somebody else who wished to go to Hawaii. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But you see, those commonalities is what, even when the relationship with the customer becomes rocky, that keeps you. Mtapatana in a coffee house.
Yes.
Mtapatana when we are doing those baking. I don't know what that is.
Yes.
So why do we pack that part of our lives away?
And then we say we are going to the business.
It's like you have split personality. Yeah. You take this person, you pack him over there, then nimeenda biashara. Excuse me?
So bring your all.
Bring your all.
I love that you run Dawit with your lovely and very beautiful wife, Selam. But you didn't tell us how Selam joined insurance. Did you find her in the insurance business? And how did she get into insurance?
Yeah, first of all, Selam is, we were friends. We did school together. And it's just that thing that you hang out with your friend and then everybody thinks you'll end up together except you. You don't even know what guys are talking about, including your parents, eh? And when will these guys, kind of thing. Yeah. And then, so we get married. She's from Ethiopia. There was this complication about work permit and what have you. And then, of course, it takes time before you get naturalized. So she'd come to the office with me. How can you tell my wife not to come to the office? She just looks at me. She sees my struggle. She sees my stress and says, this man of mine. She picked herself up, went to College of Insurance. Let me help this guy of mine. You know? And then it just became a thing. And here we are, many, many years later.
And how is it working with your spouse? Because, you know, there are these people who have this notion that mkwaje kwa nyumba the whole time pamoja and now mnafuatana to the office. How are those dynamics?
The first thing, it really helps if you're friends. Such that, yani nikiko na kitu mzuri ya kusema, I have something exciting. Who do you want to share with? Yes. That really helps. Yeah. You know, if you had a bumpy day, you know you have somebody to about. That really helps. That's a good foundation. Secondly, you need to trust one another. Trust is a big deal. And then trust makes things move very fast and very easy. Recognize that for now, give me this, I will handle. And then don't go running back there. If you told her do this, let her do it the way she knows how. Yeah. If it collapses, it collapses, and then she comes and says, now I need help. Then you work together. That kind of balance and respecting one another, not stepping over. And then also making sure that the team, the employees, don't get to a place where they know I can pit this one against the other.
Yes, we are one.
You have to be able to speak in one voice. And then just enjoy the ride. Again, live life. Yes. Just be who you are.
And just like that, you've built a legacy business. I think that's the beauty of it all. Yeah. You are able to build a legacy business that even the entire industry and the different players can look at and say, wow, there is something totally different about Dawit.
I've won contracts simply because I showed up with Salam. They looked and they said, this one cannot be mischievous. There's no mischief here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would want to go back to, so you chose to go to College of Insurance straight out of high school. What influenced that choice? Is it that you knew about insurance? And you did mention
Dad.
Your dad was in insurance.
My dad was in insurance.
Yeah. So at this point, did you feel or think that there was a future in insurance?
It's a mixture of things. So first of all, I don't know how to say this. So I grew up in estate kind of life where everybody was in everybody's business. Our home growing up was a fun home. Those are homes you identify. Everybody comes to your house. That's where life is. That's where. So I would even get home at around 9 p.m. coming from college, and I'll find people who came to look for me at 4 p.m. laughing with my parents. Yes. You know that kind of a home. Yeah. So that's the environment I've grown up. So if I want to study, I will leave our house and go and study somewhere else. That home was an active home. And let me tell you, my parents love people to this day. Even today, if I go home, I'll find new people. You know that thing where as a kid growing up, you're like, man, this is home, man. I don't want this for me. I don't want to be here all the time when there's all these people. So that inspired me to go away to college.
For the young Kenyan who's leaving College of Insurance now and has set their sights on a career in the insurance business, what are the words of wisdom you have for them?
Goodness, this is a beautiful business. This is a business where you can have lifelong impact on people's lives, right? Like there will be generations saying thank you to you. And if we are happy to do good and remain in the shadows, you will do a lot. Yeah. Because you can imagine if you set up, for example, a trust for somebody, and then the beneficiaries who are seeing the value of that trust, they don't know who you are or what you did or helped somebody take out insurance or helped, Medicare or whatever that is. It has real tangible impact in people's lives. Now, the road may be bumpy, but it also calls on you to know what you want to achieve. So some grit, some kujiamini pia, that, and just that clarity, where does your joy come from? There are some of these decisions that give people the ability to stay, are very personal. And I'd encourage people never to feel bad about their past. It doesn't matter how ugly, it doesn't matter how not nice it was, because it is from there that you're able to build to your next step. If, for example, you had an unfortunate youth where, or a place, you came from a place of lack, your story should not end there.
Yes.
It should be enough for you to push yourself to a place where lack will not be our story, for example. Yeah? Because the one thing that I say is, we are not victims. We should be able to influence our environment. Yeah. You yourself, you're powerful. The way God created us and the things that God put inside of us. Yes. Imagine, Male, your assignment will never be done by somebody else. Even if it's done by somebody else, it won't be done the way God intended it to be done. Because also God has his purposes. They will all be achieved. Whether with you or without you. It is better with you, for example. So, being clear, is this really what I want to do with my life? That's very, very important.
Yes.
When it is all said and done and people are talking about me as before they put me in the grave, what will they say? And then, if you don't like that story, rewrite it. Now you can't rewrite it.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. To the young people, don't rush.
Yes.
Okay? You may be fortunate to close big deals, but also, like an athlete, remember to amortize that income. Because business goes like this, like this, like this, like this. If you use all of it in one go, as I said to you, I think it's very important for us to pace ourselves. And don't do what other people are doing. Do what works for your strength. Think about it. What is your unfair advantage?
Yes.
It's your personality. It's your history. It's your experiences. It's the you. Bring that to the world. Nobody can compete with that.
Yes.
Your truth is your truth. Your experience. Yes. What you've gone through, bring that. Connect with people at the you level. I strongly believe that makes a way for you. Yeah. Work on yourself. Work on your character. Don't be afraid. Listen, you told us about that elephant.
Yes.
The guy who killed the elephant.
Yes.
Yeah. Kama ni mzungu angesema damned if you do, damned if you don't. My friend, let's work and make an effort to leave a ding.
I love your enthusiasm and just your insights and the wisdom that you share. Please tell us, for the young, professional who is keen on joining the industry, or even the client who's out there who's thinking, you know what, me Dawit, 2025, me and Dawit.
Yeah.
Same what's up. Like, how can they reach you?
If you want to reach me personally, you can reach me on my LinkedIn profile, Ken Kairu. Okay. And then, of course, as a customer, we have a robust website, dawitinsurance.co.ke, that has a lot of education, has a lot of tips in terms of how you can navigate the whole conversation of insurance. Within there, you're able to book a meeting and reach us on phone, and we'll be able to help you just navigate that insurance conversation, even if it's on an exploratory basis.
Yes.
Okay. Then I also have a YouTube channel called Espresso Chat.
Espresso from his love of coffee.
From my love of coffee, absolutely. Yeah. From Espresso Chat. And obviously our physical location out there on Mamlaka Road, Utumishi Cooperative. That's where we are. And we are happy to help. Yes. We really are.
Please make a point of subscribing to the Espresso Chat. I'm a huge fan, and I hope to see more and more episodes this year, Ken.
Yes.
Yes.
And Beth, before we go, in your previous episode, you talked about the various policies that people should have.
Yes.
And I thought you left out one. It was a very simple thing that we all struggle with.
Yes.
Yeah, it sits in that place called black tax. Somebody dies and you have to contribute money and you're wondering and you keep on asking yourself, can this be done in a more structured way?
Yes.
Yeah. And as Dawit Insurance, we took it upon ourselves to solve that problem. So we actually have what we call Fariji care, Fariji from the Swahili word, Fariji care, comfort. Yeah, that helps people ideally give our loved ones a befitting send-off. Yeah, so if you go to dawitdigital.com/Fariji, Fariji care, you will be able to quickly. It's an online tool that you can be able to purchase that insurance. It covers husband, wife, four children. If you have more, you can be able to do that. Yeah. Parents and parents-in-law, believe it or not. Yes. And it's an extremely affordable something. At 2,000 shillings a year, we cover all those people. They're 10.
Yes.
And the last expense benefit is 50,000. And we can pay up to 5 times in a year. Wow. Why should we continue struggling?
Zero excuses for not having last expense coverage as we go into 2025.
You're wondering where to start with insurance? Yes. Ground floor, 2,000 bob a year. You've started.
Fariji.
You've started.
Thank you. So I just this conclusion.
Yes. The last one.
You asked how would you motivate young people to come into the insurance business, and you talked about how you'll have lifelong impact on people. But there's also money. Money drives us. Money drives us. So is there money in insurance as an agent?
I mean, there is money. If you deliver value, there is money.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think there needs to be some level of patience to build up, because everything has a life cycle. How long would it take somebody to make a decision, for example, for that last expense we've talked about. Very, last expense is very instant.
Last expense is quick.
But then you're telling somebody to buy a life policy and they are going to be committing for X period of time. So the conversation that gets somebody to the point of such commitment, that I am going to commit to do this for 20 years and I'll be paying every month. So is to be able to match the policies to the time frame that you have. Because there's some things which you will do very quickly. Motor insurance, I need it. Chap. So that will convert. So depending on how you have designed your business, and it's okay. Have those ones that do bread and butter. Okay, there's some policies that have a very short cycle to sell. Those ones do bread and butter for you. Okay, and those are important. Maybe you might want to start there. And then move over here into cream. At the cream level, these ones have a longer cycle, but then have more revenue, more impact for you. And then there are those ones which you call dream. Now, these ones are life transformatory kind of transactions, and none of those transactions happens overnight. So you have to give it that time to be able to begin to harvest the dream kind of business that you're looking for.
Should just start a mentorship, a mentorship community for agents. I mean, already we are hosting you and I feel mentored already.
By the way, I have to congratulate you guys for what you do.
Oh, thank you.
Because what you do is able to impact our industry. We are able to touch not only the regulators, not only the users the customers, even the insurance companies. Here today, I walk away feeling very strong and very happy, simply because you know what they say. When the water in the bay rises, all the boats rise. So right here, right now, this is what you guys are doing. The whole insurance industry, because of a podcast like this and the approach that you guys have taken, guess what? All the boats rise. Thank you very much.
Ken should close that now for us.
Yes, at this point.
There you have it. You have a 27-year-old, 20 plus.
20-some.
Year-old, 20-some overnight success. And I love that. It's step by step. We've had guests here and every one of them has alluded to the same thing. It's a step by step. It's the little things that add up to the person that we have here. And the same as what we're talking about. It's a podcast. It's a little by little conversations that we have that will take this population to where we need it to be. Good. We've had a good time today. Thank you so much, Ken, for joining us.
Asante for having me.
Good. So there you have it. We've had a great time with Ken, the 20-some, 27-year-old, 28-year-old success story. Overnight success story. And I think that is amazing that every guest we've had here on this table have implied the same thing. It has taken time. It is step by step, little by little, pieces coming together, networks, people here and there that build the person that we have today. And the same for this podcast. We do hope that the small steps you're taking eventually will get us to an insured population. And the impact we want to have is lifelong. That the Kenyan population will move from 2 to 3% to 10-15% because of what we are doing here. So thank you for joining us. I've been your host, Malem Toto Mwanza.
And I'm Charlene Kemara. You may call me Mama Bima Kenya. And until next time, stay insured.